Have you heard about the girl from Vietnam who took Bangkok's expat scene by storm, but not in a good way? This is the story of a master manipulator who targeted retired Western men, leaving a trail of broken hearts and empty bank accounts. It's a wild ride, so buckle up. Our story begins in the bustling streets of Bangkok, a city that attracts people from all over the world, including a large community of Western retirees looking to enjoy their golden years in the sun. It was in this environment that a young, charming Vietnamese woman, let's call her Linh, began her elaborate scheme. She was known for her captivating smile, her attentive nature, and what seemed like a genuine interest in older, established men. Linh wasn't your typical scammer. She played the long game. She'd meet these men in popular expat hangouts, coffee shops, and upscale bars. She wasn't pushy or demanding. Instead, she was patient. She'd listen to their stories, learn about their families back home, their careers, and their dreams for retirement. She presented herself as a sweet, traditional girl looking for a stable, loving partner to build a life with. For many of these men, who were often lonely and far from home, she was everything they thought they were looking for. The first phase of her plan was all about building trust. She would spend months, sometimes even over a year, cultivating a deep, emotional connection with her target. She'd cook for them, help around their apartment, and be their constant companion. She'd introduce them to her family. Via video calls, actors she hired to play the part of her loving mother and father who would praise the man and express their happiness that their daughter had found such a wonderful person. This solidified the illusion of a genuine, serious relationship. Once the trust was firmly established, phase 2 would begin. It always started small. A minor family emergency back in Vietnam. Her mother was sick and needed a small amount of money for medicine. The amounts were never huge, maybe a few $100s here and there. The men, deeply in love and trusting her completely, would gladly help. They saw it as supporting their partner and her family, a normal part of any serious relationship. These small requests gradually became more frequent and more significant. The family's farm was hit by a typhoon and needed repairs. Her brother needed money for his university tuition. Then came the big one, the dream business. Linh would tell her partner about her lifelong dream of opening a small business, like a coffee shop, a nail salon, or a boutique. She would present a detailed, convincing business plan, making it seem like a sound investment that would secure their future together. She'd say things like, "Honey, with this business, I can support my family, and we won't have to worry about money. We can build a beautiful life together, right here in Thailand." The men, blinded by love and the promise of a shared future, would see it as an investment in their relationship. They would liquidate their savings, sell assets, or even take out loans, handing over tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. For a short while, the illusion of the business would continue. Linh would show them photos of a property she was renting or equipment she was buying, but soon, the excuses would start. There were delays with permits. The landlord was being difficult. The supplier sent the wrong items. The excuses were always plausible, designed to string the men along for as long as possible while she prepared her exit. And then, one day, she would simply vanish. Her phone would be disconnected. Her social media profiles would disappear. The men would be left with an empty apartment and a shattered heart. When they tried to find the business they invested in, they'd discover it never existed. The property was never rented. The equipment never bought. The family they spoke to on video calls, they were untraceable. It was all an elaborate, cruel fiction. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of this story is the shame and isolation the victims felt. Many were too embarrassed to go to the police or even tell their friends and family what had happened. They felt foolish for having been so easily deceived. They had lost not just their life savings, but also their trust in people. They were left alone in a foreign country, with nothing to show for their retirement but debt and despair. Investigators who eventually started piecing together the cases discovered a pattern. Linh wasn't working alone. She was part of a sophisticated, organized network. This network provided her with fake documents, coached her on her performance, and helped her launder the money. They were experts at identifying vulnerable targets, men who were recently divorced, widowed, or simply lonely. They knew exactly which psychological buttons to push. The network would move Linh from city to city after a successful scam, sometimes even to other countries in Southeast Asia, to start the cycle all over again with a new identity and a new group of unsuspecting victims. This made her incredibly difficult to track. For every man who came forward, authorities believed there were many more who suffered in silence. So, how can you protect yourself from scams like this? The number one rule is to be cautious when it comes to money in new relationships, especially when you're in a foreign country. Never rush into financial decisions. Take your time to really get to know someone, and be wary of anyone who pressures you for money, no matter how convincing their story is. Always verify everything. If they talk about a family business or an investment, do your own independent research. Insist on seeing official documents and, if possible, consult with a lawyer. A legitimate partner who has your best interests at heart will understand and support your need for caution. If they get defensive or angry when you ask questions, that's a massive red flag. It's also crucial to maintain a strong support network of friends and family. Talk to them about your new relationship. Sometimes an outside perspective can help you see things more clearly, things that you might miss when you're caught up in the emotion of it all. Don't let a new partner isolate you from the people who have known you the longest. The story of the Bangkok scammer is a cautionary tale, but it's not meant to make you cynical about finding love abroad. There are countless genuine, wonderful people all over the world. The key is to lead with your head, not just your heart. Be open but be aware. Be trusting but verify. This story serves as a stark reminder that wolves can indeed come in sheep's clothing. It highlights the dark side of the search for connection in an increasingly globalized world. If you or someone you know might be in a similar situation, remember that there's no shame in being a victim of a sophisticated scam. The most important thing is to seek help, report the crime to the authorities, and talk to people you trust. Staying silent only empowers the scammers to continue their destructive work. Thank you for watching. It's a complex issue, and awareness is the first step in protecting yourself and others. If you found this story informative, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into stories like this. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.